Hey guys, here we're going to a striking seminar and shadowboxing drill workout. Now we're going to be working on slips, rolls, and straight punches, and we're going to kind of work them all together, okay? But we're going to go over a couple of key ideas first, and then we're going to get into the workout, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the concepts in the video and why these striking ideas are important. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get one foot on either side of our target, okay? Now, normally when we're boxing, it's going to look a little like this, okay? If my head is on one side of the line, if this is the line, we're going to imagine that this is not the line, okay? We're going to imagine that this is our target, okay? So, what do I mean by our target? I mean our opponent's head. That's what I mean. So, I want one foot on each side of my opponent's head, okay, at all times. And that's going to allow me to get into the positions to slip, roll, and get off of the line with my opponent. One of the reasons that this is important is because my personal boxing theory is that you should, and if you want to learn more about that on Patreon, check it out. We'll talk more about that later. But is that you always want your head on one side of your opponent's head or the other at all times. Okay? So what that means is that there's not usually ever a time in which your head should be on the center line, right? A lot of people call it the center line. But it's really the center of your line, okay? Now, and we'll talk a little bit more about this stuff at the end, but what we're going to be practicing is slipping and rolling and throwing straight punches, but not from our traditional boxing stance, okay? Because this is going to be, it's more difficult to use our line when it's more than just one direction, right? So if I'm standing sideways here, my line, which is in between my two heels here, this is my line. Your opponent's line is in between his feet. But when I'm transferring my weight from one foot or the other, and my line is here, and I'm looking straight, and my feet are, in line with each other, it's much easier to understand where I am in the placement of this position, okay? So this is how we're going to practice it. Now, I do want to also point out, when you're in this position, you have one foot on each side of your opponent's head, and you're able to move. When your opponent throws a punch at you, and you slip, you're not just slipping one direction, right? You're not just going left, right? You'll be going forward as well, getting your head off the line in a different plane, or from here, this way. Now, also taking into account the trajectory of the punches, if I throw my left hand at a target here, it goes across the line like this. So when you slip in these directions, those punches are going to be angled in a way that is away from your defense, okay? So you don't actually have to slip that much because you're going forward and back and left and right, not just one of those dimensions. So it makes so much more space when you slip here, a jab that was going to hit you on the chin. You don't actually have to go as far as you believe you will because you're already getting off of that line, right? By getting off of it diagonally. Kind of. So, one of the ways that we're going to make a lot of this stuff easier, and the same is true for rolling. If you roll to the back foot or to the front foot, you have that same dimension where it's forward and backwards and left and right. So, we're going to be practicing this by linearizing this idea and getting one foot on each side of our target in the same idea. However wide you want your stance, however much you want to bend your legs, is going to be up to you. The more, the better. The better the workout you're going to get. It's more difficult, all that stuff. But it also could be more fun, depending on how much you enjoy it. So, I'm going to put in my music here and get my little counter. You guys can use whatever kind of music you want. And we're going to do about 3 minutes. And we're going to be, first, taking a step here and getting all of our weight here, okay? No weight on our left leg. Here, 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 here. And we're just going to be using these 1-2s. Strike, strike, strike. My music turned off. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, one of the keys here is that we are not bringing our hand back right away, okay? We are extending our wrist, and we're trying to get the snap in the punch, okay? We're not trying to bring it back, but we are allowing this to be the end of this position. This is going to help our coordination and help our ability to tell the difference between one weight transition and another, which will be very important if you ever actually want to fight someone. So, let's see how much time. So, the next drill here, and we're going to roll under and come up with a straight punch. Roll under and come up with a straight punch. Okay? Doing the exact same thing, just rolling and throwing 1-2s. Okay? And again, this is going to help us learn to break up our line as well. Also, transferring our weight from one side of our body to the other. Now, as you get better at this, you can shortcut this and not have to take the step and just roll into the punch and really get that snap in that shot. But back to the drill. And the same thing with the slipping, right? But you can roll or just smash into it here. And yeah, this is the drill. It's pretty simple. Do it at your own pace, but keeping rhythm, okay? When you're doing it here, the rhythm, the positions, these are all very important. And again, getting your head on one side of that line and the other each time, okay? So I think that was about 3 minutes. Now, I'm going to kind of explain some of the theory and the ideas behind a lot of the striking ideas, okay? Now, first off, there are only 2 moves in all of boxing, okay? 2. There's going from here and here, right? You either go from here to here or from here to here. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do when you make these moves. These are called weight transitions, right? Positional changes. In my personal boxing theory, I call this position 1. This is the most aggressive position. If you're looking to get here, you're looking to control the line, pendulum step forward, and make attacks on your opponent's line, compromise it, and then land power shots. If you're fighting here on the back foot, you're looking to control the line, pendulum step off, and set up a counter, right? Or sitting here, controlling the line, slipping to the back foot, and then coming with another counter, right? Maybe pendulum step and turn it into an aggressive start, right? But either way, no matter how good of a fighter or bad of a fighter you are going to wind up in this position at some point. You're going to wind up in this position at some point. And at my Fouts Boxing Patreon, I stress the idea of being able to make all of the basic boxing motions, which I'll go over in a second, from either this position or this position. Notice my head is over my heel and my knee. My head is not over here in La La Land. Now, the reason this is important is because if I'm on the back foot, remember this position here, and my opponent throws a punch at me, I'm going to slip to the front foot, and that punch, the angle of it, is going to go off my line and over here. Why else is this important? Well, if I go from here to slip, I go from here to punch. And now I'm punching that same target that I'm slipping into while I'm getting my head off of the line that my opponent was attacking, right? Now, say I'm in this position on the front foot, and my opponent throws a jab at me. When I slip to the back foot, again, that jab, the line it's coming in on, this angle here, I'm easily able to get my head off of this line. Now, the reason that this is also important, this is also the same position. If my opponent throws a jab at me, if I'm going to throw a hook, and I'm going to get my head out of this position, bring it to my back foot, but I'm going to bring it to my back foot with the hook or a cross of my own. Again, exiting the position that they were attacking and being able to make an attack as well. Again, another one of these ideas is getting my head on the other side of my target each time I attempt one of these, right? So, what does that mean? Well, if I'm on the back foot and my opponent is on the back foot, he's really far away. But where is his head going to be when he makes his attack against me? Well, it's going to be on his front foot, right? If he throws a right hand. So that's where the line is going to be when I look to counter. So if I throw a right hand from here to my opponent's back foot, I'm going to cross the line and my head is going to be here. So when he slips and he brings his weight from this quadrant to this one, he's going to be attacking this zone here. Think Teofimo Lopez versus Richard Comey throwing those overhand rights. And Teofimo Lopez throwing his at the front foot while Comey's still throwing his at the back foot. So all of these kinds of ideas are going to be very important and play a huge role, not in only the idea of having your head on one side of your opponent's head or the other. Not only does that play a huge part in your offense, remember the Marvin Cook video that I put out. Marvin Cook has correctly identified, and this is not super clear because it looks like I'm digging at him, right? But he's correctly identified that all of the power for your right hand is in this right quadrant, right? No matter how good you are with your right hand, you're not throwing that guy like this. You're always going to be throwing it, crossing the line, right? In my boxing theory, we simply do that by bringing our weight from the back foot to the front foot and bringing that shoulder to our target through that means, whereas Marvin Cook says that you want to take a step and move your body across that line so that you can stay in this kind of neutral position. Real quick, it's our drill, right? That's the drill that we're doing. That's how I learned to power as well. But it's brilliant that he figured this idea out, right? But it's not just with the right hand. Your left hand's most powerful quadrants are in the same place. So you're going to be looking to throw your left hand and rotate and bring your weight to the back foot so you can get your shoulder into the correct quadrant to attack your opponent. Same thing with the right. If you're going to be moving your shoulder forward. Now this, when you do it and you bring your shoulder to that target, it brings your weight and your head to the back foot, putting you in position 2. This is also going to be getting your head off the line into a new position in case your opponent was looking to counter, right? Or say they were looking to attack this position and you were moving out of it anyway with your left cross, baiting the attack. The same thing is true here. If you're throwing a right hand to counter, look at Teofimo Lopez beating Richard Comey. You move your head in this position to your new position here while also being able to bring your weight and gain power, right? So, and there are more ideas as well, which I don't have time to go over. How long is this video already? 13 minutes. But all these ideas are very important when understanding how striking works and striking theory and how you should practice your striking. Again, your right shoulder and your left shoulder share that commonality in that you need to bring your shoulder to the target, right? Mike Tyson describes it, he says the shoulder snap, right? But a lot of the shoulder snap concepts are going to be taught with the idea that you want to be bringing that shoulder forward into your opponent, right? Changing positions, I call it in my boxing theory. Now, there are 3 ideas in my boxing theory that I teach about every single time you cross the line. And one is, well, cross the line. If you're going to do it, right, do it, okay? You can't throw a punch here if you don't cross the line. So, cross the line. Change positions. What does that mean? That means get your back heel up. Allow your weight to get to your front foot. Allow your hip to come forward. Allow your shoulder to come forward. Whether you are punching. Now we're going to interject real quick and talk about, well, I'll talk about that after. The ideas, all the things that you can do with your position 1 and position 2. But and why it's important that your head be over your knee and not in freaking La La Land, right? So, cross the line, change positions, and transfer your weight. Allow your weight to sink into your heel on the front foot when you change positions. And then when you come back and you change positions again, you're going to cross the line, change positions, and transfer your weight. Allow the weight to get into your heel, into the heel of your foot, so you can catch your weight and get a massive power shot and not fall off balance, right? Now, also in my boxing theory and my coaching, your last weight transition is only ever as good as the next one you can make, right? So if you throw a right hand really good and then your next left hook to the head and you're falling off balance, that means your right hand sucks. That doesn't mean anything about your left hook. That means you need to figure out a new way to throw your right hand so that you don't break any of the rules of cross the line, transfer your weight, change positions. Because if you achieve all of these goals, there won't be anything to stop you from throwing your next weight transition, right? From continually being able to cross the line, change positions, and transfer your weight. There won't be anything in your body mechanics to prevent that. So, what are the things that you can do with your body mechanics, right? With this motion, right? Now, this motion, transferring your weight, again, heel, knee, head, very important. Heel, knee, head, very important. No matter where this foot is. It doesn't matter where this foot is, as long as the base is here, right? I can be anywhere here, right? I can be stepping as long as I have this base, right? And now I'm boxing, right? Off the back foot. I can move anywhere. Anyway, you get it. Kind of the same thing on the front foot, right? Getting here, pendulum step. But what are the things that you can do with these weight transitions? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you go from the back foot to the front foot, you can block. You can throw a straight right hand. You can throw an overhand right hand. You can throw a long right hand. You can slip. You can roll. Okay? You can pendulum step backwards. Okay? All of these motions are achievable from the back foot. Some people who maybe don't know boxing all that well, don't know all the things that you can do on the back foot here, all the opportunities that you have to use your weight, right, to make an attack, slip, defend yourself, roll, right, or control the line, right? Just control, feint, right, probe, right, or attack. Now, what can you do on the front foot? Oh man, this is a doozy, right? So you can throw a hook, you can slip, you can roll, you can throw a cross, you can pendulum step forward, okay? And those are all the moves that you make off of your weight transitions, okay? Off of going from position 2 to position 1. You have all your right hand attacks and defense. From going from position 1, and blocking, right? You're going to block a right hand. You want to get on the back foot, catch it here, right, to come back. But all of those motions come from this position here, okay? Now, here's one for that guy who thinks his head's going to be all the way out here. When you throw a right hand, your head doesn't end all the way out here. If you're going to pendulum step, you're not going to do it from there, right? You're not going to do it from here. Oh my goodness. Anyway, position 1 and position 2, okay? They're the most important ideas in boxing because we don't have a boxing stance, okay? We have boxing positions, okay? We have places that we want to fight out of. And what happens usually when you get stuck here in the middle of your line, usually that's when you're getting beat up, right? If you can't get here or here. Anyway, so this is the first shadow boxing drill video that I'm going to be doing. Man, it's 20 minutes long. Sucks. if you're interested in learning how to use these tools and use your weight transitions to learn to box with a rhythm and a tempo, check out my Patreon. It's $20 to sign up, $20 a month. I do personalized film studies. People send me videos literally every single day of their training, and I'm giving them new drills, new things to work on to get them to the next level. And I have, there are a lot of fighters who are sending in sparring, heavy bag work, shadow boxing. And there are film studies every single day to learn from. Just last week, we did Golovkin versus Zarametra. I think we did Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. We did Luke Campbell versus Ryan Garcia already. I think we did it twice, actually. Lomachenko versus Lopez. Full, complete film studies of all of these fights to help teach you, not just a film study say, oh, that's a feint, that's a probe. Oh, he did that because, not just that, but the theory, the striking theory that I've developed and learned, the strategies and the ways to learn to do these things yourselves, okay? And if you see a couple videos back, my guy Dan Hatzar fought a monster of a man, way bigger than him, and he gave that guy a butt whooping. The guy outweighed him by like 30 pounds or something and 6 inches. And my guy Dan beat his ass. Forgive my language, but it was great. It was great. But there are a lot of talented guys in there and a lot of guys that really work hard, right? So it's not just like, here's the drills and now all of a sudden you're going to be good. You still got to practice, right? If you practice and you work hard, and you send in your videos, I will get you more drills. I will teach you more things. And like I said, there are film studies nearly every day that I post, and we watch, all the fights, contemporary. I take requests. The only condition is when you send in your videos and you send in your requests, you have to send in a 3-minute jump rope video with it. Okay. Everyone sends in jump ropes. And then jump rope videos, and then I'll critique your jump rope video as well, and I'll give you pointers to really learn how to jump rope like a real fighter, okay? And ways that you can improve slowly, to get your Mike Tyson on. Anyway, and I mean that not just in jump rope sense, in every sense. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, we're going to be doing workouts like this maybe twice a week. The next ones won't be 30 minutes long because they'll be mostly just the drills. But practice the drill. Again, these are for slips, rolls, getting your head off the line, and transitioning your weight, okay? The punches are fun, but most of the idea is based in weight transfers and body mechanics, more so than the punch. Because again, you have 2 positions in boxing, and they encapsulate every single motion that you will make when you are in the ring, okay? So it's not important that you practice punching all the time. It's important that you practice moving,